All right, a bit earlier we were talking about the 350 Rand grant that is being reintroduced. A lot of happiness about that, but some concern about the people who are being left out of this net. The grant is dispersed by the South African Social Security Agency, or Sassa, and we are now joined by the Chief Executive Officer of Sassa, Busisiwe Memela. Ms. Memela, thank you for being with us. Please firstly explain why everyone has to reapply. Like I said to the CEO of the post office, these are people with little means to take the trip just to apply, maybe beyond reach for some, and they did it last time. Why all over again?
The application has to be done yet again because there is a whole lot of information that we need to verify. There's some changes that we have made based on lessons learned in terms of some of the things that didn't work in the past that made the process frustrating for our people. So the first issue is the fact that at the time we didn't have Bahia, even though there are things that we still had to ask people to look at. We now have a full Bahia with effect from July 1st, therefore we need to make sure that that is taken care of. We also want to make sure that people can load their bank accounts up front. And if they still choose to go and be paid at the post office, which of course is going to have a whole range of other payment channels, which is really great news, that they can choose that they want to do that. The other thing that is key is for us to make it clear for those people that are going to apply that don't qualify, that in future will be able to take action, and that people understand what the do's and don'ts are up front, so that there is no confusion down the line on our expectation, and people won't say, I didn't know that this is what I was supposed to do. So those are the key issues that are making us do the changes, and also to make sure that we can execute quicker, better than we did before.
Yeah.
But what's important is that those people that are already in the system, they are going to be doing more updates, which are key.
Well, Ms. Memela, I was going to say that you should have done it right the first time, presumably. Can't people just come when they get their first payout and simply update some of their details? Or do they really have to start from scratch again?
Well, we can't assume that the 6 million people that we paid previously, that all those 6 million people, one, still require the loan, secondly, that they actually still do qualify. But after they've put in their ID details, the bulk of the information that exists will pop up. Therefore, there will be verifying the information that already is there and updating whatever information is not there, so that we can make sure that, for example, the uploading of the bank accounts, if they can upload those bank accounts up front, which they could not do in the past.
All right, and of course now the net is getting wider. Women who received some support in form of a child support grant, they can still get this grant. How do people apply? Where do they go? And what support do you give them if filling out forms may be difficult?
In terms of the support that we provide is, for example, in deep rural areas, we're looking at making sure that, just like it was the case before, we can get the NGOs that provided support to assist them, but we will also be, in the next week or two, getting young leaders to go and support us on the ground, so that we can make sure that those people in deep rural areas that don't have access to technology, but also do not know how to utilize it, can get support. But it was interesting that even when we started this process, everybody said, well, our people don't know anything about technology. They will not be able to apply. And we found a situation where 10 million applications were actually received, even though we were paying 6 million people. So much as I understand and accept that people may not have data, that there may be challenges, I don't believe that our people don't know how to use technology, because that was the view even in the past, which was not necessarily the case. Here we are with 6 million people that we've been paying, despite all the challenges that were indicated up front.
Okay, and there will be a whole lot more. We spoke to the post office earlier saying they've learned lessons as well. Do you think the issues have been ironed out in terms of actually putting the cash in people's hands, disbursing these grants?
There are exciting opportunities. The post office is now looking at other channels over and above people only coming to the post office for them to get their cash. And that, I think, is a very exciting development in terms of how people are going to get paid. So they're not all going to be queuing at the post office from 3 o'clock in the morning, because there will be alternative channels with the retailers and also with the banks that the post office is finalizing the arrangements with, which is going to go a long way, because for those people that are getting paid for the first time, for example, the new applicants, because we need to do KYC, if your bank of choice is going to be the post office, it therefore means that for the first payment or for the first validation, you will have to go to the post office. But post that, you don't necessarily have to go to the post office for your payment. The challenge will be the opportunity for those that would have selected their own bank accounts, which they will select now upfront. It therefore means that the money will go into your own bank account.
All right, thank you for your time tonight. So Sassa, the State Security Agency, and the Post Office saying they're ready. The reapplications begin, or the applications for new recipients begin tomorrow. Thank you. That was Chief Executive Officer of Sassa, Busisiwe Memela.